Hi kiddos! Today we're wrapping up our geometry unit, and so there are several videos in this lesson to help you review the different geometry ideas we've learned about. And then in this assignment, we're going to show what we know and see how we're doing. So this first page of our jam has the big vocabulary words we learned in each chunk of the geometry module. We've got our three different types of angles: acute angle, right angle, and obtuse angle. We've got our two important special kinds of lines when they either meet or don't meet. Remember parallel lines and what that means? I use the two L's as an example, hint, hint. And perpendicular lines, which is a very special way that two lines can meet each other. And finally, we learned some more about different types of lines and how they can be measured and using points and stuff. So points is one of the words. Line was one of our important words. And then we talked about segments, which are like pieces of a line, and rays. So if any of those didn't sound familiar, make sure you watch the matching other YouTube video in this lesson. There are several. There's one for each kind of color of vocabulary word here. And when you're watching them, take some notes, draw some pictures to help you remember, because what makes geometry math tricky is just the amount of new vocabulary words. For example, if you're talking about lines in like art class and just everyday life, we call a lot of things line. But in math, when we say line, we mean something very specific. So pause this video if you need to, go do some review, take some notes, and then come back to this video if you'd like to hear me read the directions in your jam assignment. Okay, so if you came back, then you are ready to hear the directions in this jam. The first question is, how many obtuse angles are in this shape? Count the obtuse angles and then choose the number over here. The next question has some pictures, and it's going to ask you which of these drawings shows three rays. Here's a bunch of true or false statements. Choose the ones that are true and put an X in true, and if they're false, put a little X on the false box. Here's the statements for you. Neither shape has an obtuse angle. True or false? Statement B. Both shapes have one right angle. True or false? Statement C. Shape 1 has more acute angles than shape 2. True or false? And for the last one, shape 2 has a pair of perpendicular line segments. All right, next page. For this one, I made it a little easier by putting the possible answers on sticky notes, so you can just move them onto the line where they belong. You're going to move the sticky notes to tell whether each picture shows an acute angle, a right angle, or an obtuse angle. On this page, I also made sticky notes so you can fill in the blanks. There's a map of a neighborhood here. Here's Beach Street, Elm Street, and Alden Street is the one that goes up and down. So we're going to fill in the blanks on these two sentences to complete the statements about the map. First one, Beach Street and blank street, so you'll need to choose a name, are parallel or perpendicular, because they cross each other at a right angle. So you'll need to think about which of these vocabulary words means crossing at a right angle, and put that one in the blank. And then tell which one of these is perpendicular or parallel, whichever word it is, to Beach Street. So basically, you just have to work this sentence backward. You're looking for a right angle. Which word means that? And then which street is at that angle with Beach Street. The other statement, which after you've done the first one, you should only have 2 choices left, so that will make it easier, but do double check that it's true. Beach Street and blank street are blank streets because they're the same distance apart and do not cross each other. So if you've done this right, whichever math word is left will mean the same distance apart and don't cross each other. And it will be true with the street name. And that's all for this assignment. So, have fun, enjoy the other videos for the review, and I'll see you in the next video.